So let me ask you a question most trainers avoid. When training ends, how do you actually know it worked? Not smiles, not feedback forms, real impact. Because as Donald Kirkpatrick himself warned, reaction data alone tells us very little about learning or results. Without proper evaluation, training becomes a cost center, not a performance driver. Today, we are breaking down the evaluate phase of the ADDIE approach and the 4 most influential learning evaluation frameworks, when to use them and when not to. So, if evaluation feels confusing or political, well, that's normal. According to CIPD's Learning and Skills at Work report, most organizations still rely heavily on post-course satisfaction surveys, even though they correlate weakly with performance change. At the same time, jumping straight to ROI without foundation often creates mistrust. Evaluation isn't about providing training that was liked. It's about providing learning that changed something meaningful. And here's the key shift. There is no best evaluation model. As Brinkerhoff and Halton argue in their Working on Learning Transfer, evaluation frameworks answer different questions, not the same one better. So instead of arguing about models, we need to understand what each one is designed to measure. So let's walk through them progressively. First, the Kirkpatrick model, and it answers, did it work? The Kirkpatrick model, introduced in the 1950s and later refined by Donald and Jim Kirkpatrick, it evaluates learning across 4 levels. Reaction, and that answers how participants felt. Learning, and that answers what they learned. Behavior, and that answers what they applied on the job. And results, and it's related to the impact on the organizational outcome. Kirkpatrick was very clear. Levels build on each other. You don't jump to results without addressing behaviors. So the strengths are, it's simple, intuitive structure, easy to explain to stakeholders, and it's widely recognized and scalable. But the limitations are, it's often misused by stopping at level 1. The attribution between training and results can be a little bit difficult. But the key insight from Kirkpatrick and Kirkpatrick is the purpose of evaluation is not to prove, but to improve. But the moment leadership asks the inevitable question, was it worth the investment? Kirkpatrick alone stops short. That's where another model enters. The Phillips ROI model. It was developed by Jack Phillips. It extends on Kirkpatrick by adding a 5th level, which is return on investment or ROI. It focuses on isolating the effects of the training, converting the outcome into monetary value, and comparing benefits against total cost. Phillips was explicit that ROI should be used selectively and not universally. For strength, it speaks the language of finance, and it's powerful for executive decision-making, and it positions L&D as a strategic partner. But the limitation is it's time and data intensive. Attribution can be a little bit complex, and it's not suitable for every learning initiative. As Phillips himself states, not all programs need ROI, but these that do must do it credibly. But here, not every learning initiative is about money. Sometimes the real question is more fundamental. The CIRO model. The CIRO model, developed by War, Brid, and Rickham, focuses on evaluating training through 4 lenses. Context. Was the training the right solution? Input. Was it designed appropriately? Reaction. How did learners respond? Outcome. What changed? CIRO places strong emphasis on needs analysis and alignment, something CIPD consistently highlights as weakness in organizational learning. For the strength, it prevents unnecessary training. It has strong diagnostic power. It encourages evidence-based design. But the limitations are it's less well known and the outcomes are often qualitative. So CIRO framework reframes the evaluation from was the training good to was the training even the right intervention? But some frameworks even go further beyond the organization itself. Roger Kaufman's model expands evaluation beyond internal results. It includes societal and external impact. It evaluates individual performance, organizational outcome, and consequences for customers and communities. Kaufman argues that organizations should be accountable not for only the internal efficiency, but for the external value creation. For the strengths, its systems thinking approach. It's ideal for public sectors and social impact programs, but the limitations are it's complex to implement and it's less practical in purely commercial environments. So Kaufman's central question was, what's the value added to the world? And here's where most L&D teams go wrong. They debate which model is the best, but the better question is, what are we trying to prove? If it's learning effectiveness, it's Kirkpatrick. If we're talking about financial justification, Phillips ROI. Alignment and diagnosis, it's CIRO. Societal impact, it's Kaufman. As CIPD emphasizes, effective evaluation is contextual. It's layered and intentional, not one size fits all. So the evaluate phase isn't the end of the ADDIE approach. It's the phase that gives learning credibility. When evaluation is designed properly, learning earns trust. Conversations move from did they like it to did it work? And L&D becomes a strategic partner. Please don't forget to tell me in the comment, what evaluation model do you use currently in your organization? And does it work? And also start by asking, what decisions are we trying to make? That single shift elevates L&D from delivery to leadership. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.